Yeah, but like the question remains, why are we seeing this like tremendous global response when these other sort of equally reprehensible police killings or vigilante killings in the case of Zimmerman didn't really touch off the same sort of firestorm?
So this is a terrific, like, to take some of the emotion out of it for a moment, is to say this is the kinds of questions that social scientists dig into. So
I know.
what are
It's a
the
leading question.
yeah, so you say, like, okay, here's this outcome, here's this thing that's happened, what has caused it? So we've talked about a lot of them, and let's quickly list them. One is the proliferation of video, right? It
Yeah.
is that things get, as Will Smith, I know this is made its rounds in the op-ed of the last 2 weeks. Will Smith said in an interview with Stephen Colbert in 2016, racism hasn't changed, it's just being filmed. So,
Right.
which is a nice encapsulation of saying, well, everybody's got a phone, everybody's got a recording device for injustice. That's one issue. Another issue is the ongoing pandemic for us in the United States,
Ugh.
as well as those in the in Western Europe. We're just starting to come out of the first, and it's probably just going to be the first of these quarantine lockdowns. And during this time, screen time for everyone that had a screen and regular internet access went way up, right?
Way up. Yeah.
So news consumption went way up. It's not, I don't think, to muddle, God, any research methods professor would hate what I'm about to do. I mean, I think it's no surprise that the president tried to take advantage of the screen time by having daily pressers, and he then found out that he should stop doing that because he's really bad on camera.
Really bad.
Yeah,
Yeah. Unless it's scripted. But even then,
yeah.
um, yeah, totally. I agree with the points you've made. Not only do we have cameras everywhere, they're like super duper ultra high def that can stream in real time. So you see everything that is happening in like 1080p detail across the world, and it's trending so that everybody is watching it as it happens and contributing at the same time. So you get this hive mind like effect, right? And that's new. That's technologically enabled by new technology that did not exist even in 2014 or 2017 in the same way. This stuff just gets better and better and better every year. And we're now at a point where everybody can basically teleport themselves to the middle of a protest or the middle of an atrocity, right? And be there and feel the same feelings at like, I don't know, 60% intensity. I was watching live streaming from a lot of the protests. You know, I haven't participated in them because, I'm in close contact with older people and stuff like that. And we didn't want to go out, but I've watched a lot of it from within the protest, and that was not possible the last time we had big protests like this. Um, in addition, yeah, COVID is for sure a what's called a conditioning variable, in that it's just exacerbated the underlying economic and health inequalities that separate black from white in this country. You and I can work from home in extreme boredom, but relative comfort and safety, right? But a lot of the frontline workers, essential workers, and people that have to go out and man the grocery stores, do deliveries, and so on, are people of color, right? In this country and elsewhere, and that is because they've been economically discriminated against. A
So
lot of them have pre-existing health conditions as well because they live in polluted areas, and the list goes on and on and on, right? And so when you die of this pandemic at hugely differential rates and you're not bailed out and a lot of your jobs go away because of the recession while other people get to keep their jobs, it's just like, that's unfair. That's unfair. That's unfair. We're getting killed, not just by police, but by the entire system, you know?
But I just want to say this, though. It's not, to the broader point, it's not just black folks in the streets.
No.
These
And that's a
protests
really
have been
important point.
these protests have been incredibly, not just across the world to say, oh, there's thousands of of Germans in the streets. It's been incredibly diverse by almost every demographic measure that you can think of. The kind of background conditions that you're talking about, of saying, well, in the United States, uh, blacks, Latinos tend to be economically disadvantaged, and have all these sort of background conditions that mean that they're going to be affected worse by the pandemic, are there. But this is also where social science has its really frustrating limitations, where you can try and like say, well, we'll talk about this and we'll control for that, and what it happens is, folks don't live in tidily constructed social science
Laboratory
models.
conditions.
Right, they don't exist like that. There's too many intervening variables,
Mm.
uh, that and whose effects you can try and create clever ways to measure, but in actual life, people live off of feelings and stories more than anything. And the story that people of all demographics in this country are saying is, this has got to stop.